Hey, what's up, ImmortalPhoenix?
Hey Jason, yeah, man, I think your vanity point is on point. But man, dude, he paid so much for his vanity. It's shocking.
Yeah, it's very surprising that he would go to those lengths, but that's the thing. I think when you have the money to waste, you'll just do it. You'll gamble shit like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, when you've gotten away with so much, right? Like remember the SEC lawsuits and stuff? Maybe at a certain point you think you're like untouchable, right?
Yeah, and that he also had a bunch of trouble with the NLRB as well, over his anti-union tactics and shit with
He keeps
Tesla.
winning. Dude, he keeps winning. So I feel like maybe if I was him and I was winning every battle, like it's I mean, he's his stock. Did you hear or did you read the article about Microsoft and his stock?
No, I didn't. What happened with that?
So, so he found out. So some drums for you. He found out that Bill Gates had one of the largest shorts on Tesla that anyone has in the world. It's supposed to be like $100 or $200 million. A crazy short. He asked Bill if he still had that short, and Bill told him yes. The texts where that conversation happened got leaked,
Uh
and
huh.
then Elon admitted on Twitter that those texts were real, and everyone's like, "Oh, Bill Gates is
Damn.
going after Tesla."
Bill Gates shorted Tesla. Oh snap!
He's still shorting it, which means he's putting in more and more money because he has to cover his shorts,
Uh huh.
because he still thinks it's gonna fall. So he's every day he's losing tens of thousands of dollars to short Tesla.
I think he. I think Tesla is going to fall though. I think it's going to be like another DeLorean. You
I
know.
do too, dude. But like the timing is terrible because a year ago, if I had shorted Tesla, I would have lost like all my money. But I mean, Bill Gates is so rich, he doesn't have to worry about the time like you and me.
Yeah, like he can let that go by. You know, and then he'll get that back in the end.
Yeah, because like, have you seen how much it is worth? It's like hundreds of multiples of what it actually makes.
Are you serious? I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
it's so if you
How
go,
is its worth so inflated? Like how is its worth so inflated? Because there's other companies like major car companies that are getting into the electric car game and doing very well, doing just as well as Tesla, if not better in some cases, and for more reasonable prices. You know.
how is it doing it? Because Tesla has a cult, kind of like Apple, and that cult will push his stock up. Like you did you see what they did with Dogecoin, right?
Oh, he did drive Dogecoin. That's right. You're absolutely correct about that.
I
Everybody
just
went in on that because of him.
if you want to share with chat, I just sent a private message in Discord to you their PE, so their price of the stock to their earnings.
Uh huh.
It's 118, and any company like over 30 or 40 is getting a huge multiple. Like, oh, there's got to be something good here, right? Under 20, okay, that's a good value. 118 is like absurd. So let's just look up Microsoft's PE as an example.
Hmm.
Microsoft's worth a lot. So Microsoft's PE is 28, which means if it were to be Tesla level, Microsoft's stock would have to be 5 times bigger.
Jesus Christ.
And Microsoft is like I think like the third
How the
largest
fuck is
stock.
it pulling that off? How are they pulling that off, dude? Like, there's got to be some fucking market manipulation or something. What the fuck, dude?
I just think it's there are so many Elon loyalists. Like he's got like a cult, man. He just does.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. It's like, yeah. And it's a weird demographic, too, because he's got people from kind of a lot of different places that really, like, are up his ass. You know what I mean? Like, that are all about him. Because I know people from the right and like libertarian people that really like him. I know people like on the left or that claim to be left or libbies, that really like him too. And I'm like, dude, what are you guys missing?
Dude,
Like,
he's hurt. He's
what are you
hurting
guys
people.
missing that I'm seeing? Like,
Dude, his hyping has actual tangible effects because I have a acquaintance. I wouldn't say friend, but I've known him for a few years, and He went to get a job. I told him not to at Virgin Hyperloop,
mm-hmm.
and I was like, dude, this whole Hyperloop stuff is just overflated. Like it's not safe. It's too expensive. Like don't do it. Right? He did it, and then Virgin Hyperloop essentially goes under. So he luckily found another job at Virgin Galactic, but a lot of the people he worked with could like they don't have unlimited spots. They just got fired, right? So he lucked out. He's now at Virgin Galactic, but a lot of his friends who were at Virgin Hyperloop, they're gone and they have no job and they don't know where to go. That was all Elon.
Yep, because he's a shit weasel. That's why. He's a
Yeah.
fucking walking shit weasel. And that's what he
Yeah.
does. And see, like everybody, here's my problem with Elon Musk, is everybody thinks that he's this genius that created all this shit. He didn't create PayPal. He bought PayPal.
Yep.
He didn't create Tesla. He bought Tesla and changed the name, I believe. Most of the stuff he didn't create. He's not a creator. He's just somebody that buys shit because his daddy had an emerald mine and benefited from apartheid era fucking South Africa. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, let's be real about it, you know? That's where his fucking money comes from. You know? So, I don't think he's necessarily a genius. He used a lot of government subsidies, which he doesn't feel like he's responsible to pay back in taxes, you know, in order to achieve his aims. And the kicker of it is the money that was used from his family to pay for any of it was fucking slave money. That's fucking horrible.
Blood money, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, people just like there's a lot of rich or famous or powerful people out there, but people don't understand the level of wealth some people have that they haven't, you know, like me and you haven't been born with. So
Yeah.
life is just so much easier. Like I know a person who has a trust fund. He will never need to struggle for anything. He's got $1 million just sitting there. His family was smart. They won't allow him the way they structured it to pull the money out. But the guy gets like checks every single month. Like he
gets draws. Yeah, they give him draws every month, or it's kind of like an allowance, basically, right?
Yeah. The downside is, so he's in his 30s. When he turns 40, I think he gets all of it. I'm a little scared because he's a bad spender that he's gonna like burn it all. But I mean, whatever. When it gets all his, hopefully he doesn't ruin it.
Well, if they pace out how much they're giving him at a time over a long enough period, then it won't matter. You know, it'll be like, well, you only got this much, so you know if you blow it, you know that's all you're gonna have. You know, it's like, so there's kind of damage control built in that way, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good that they've at least protected him up until 40. If it wasn't for that, I think in his 20s he would have blowed it. So it's good that they structured it that way.
I've heard a lot of weird stuff, like people do stuff like that. Where like, well, you know, when you get married, then you can have like a lump sum, and then you get, you know, whatever else. Like people do crazy shit with trusts like that, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, could you imagine not being able to get a trust until you get married? What if like you never want to get married? What if marriage is like the worst possible concept for you, and it's like, but that's the only way you get paid? You know, do you just get married for the fuck of it, just to be like, all right, I want the check, you know, like, fuck it, you know, like, and just tell the person you're marrying, hey, this is a business arrangement. I'll cut you in 10%, you know, like how do you work that, you know, like.
That would be hilarious. Yeah, like, I got to do this. Like, this is $10 million online. Do you know about In-N-Out?
No.
So in California, it's like a big
the burger place, right?
Yeah,
Christian burger place, like they put the Bible verses on the fries and shit.
Basically,
under the cups.
They do stuff like that because they're family owned, and the daughter who inherited it all, I think she did it in slow chunks. So like at 20 she got some, 25 I think she got like all of it like 28, and it was probably like one of the biggest inheritances in the world. It was like tens of billions of dollars.
No shit.
She didn't have security for like years, and she was like, oh, I just want to be a normal person, like just like you, Jason, just like me. Right. And she almost got abducted, and then she's like, all right, I'm not normal.
Oh, fuck, yeah, no shit, huh? Like the Lindbergh baby and shit, you know?
Yeah, exactly. She was trying to be normal. I'm like, lady, you're not normal. Like, this whole company, you're a majority shareholder. You could fire everyone in the board.
Yeah, no shit. Just fucking kill it. You know who I think is dope as far as like an heiress for a big company like that is the heiress of Disney.
Oh,
The
I
daughter.
didn't know that.
The
No, I don't know
daughter.
that.
The daughter is fucking so anti like so much of the shit Disney does and like how they treat their workers and shit. Like and the pricing on all their stuff and you know how exclusive everything is for Disney. She thinks it's fucking horrible. Like she goes in hard, man. Like she's actually like very, very like lefty, progressive, and you know very much about redistributing wealth and like it's like whoa, like really, like this lady that's like rich is really about this shit, dude. Like she's like all gung ho. I'm like, well, start by funding union drive efforts all over the country. You could do that, lady. You know.
It is kind of shameful. Disney's so rich. Like, why don't they pay their employees more? Like, they have the money.
The actors get paid shit. I know that they're required to do a lot of work, and it's very like arduous. I'm talking not. I'm not talking about like the TV shows. I'm talking about like at the parks. Those actors, like it's hard fucking work, and they're out in the sun in these fucking elaborate costumes, sweating their asses off. Because SoCal isn't fucking cool. Like it's hot. Like
Yeah.
it gets
Yeah.
into up over 100 degrees in the summertime. You know, it's all asphalt out there. You know, it's absorbing all that fucking heat. You know, so yeah, and they're out there like costumed, makeuped up, and you know having to do all the dances and shit. And I mean, they're getting paid like fucking California minimum wage and shit. You know, like no shit. You know, and some of these people are Juilliard trained actors and
I don't
actresses.
I don't get it because I get if it's like a smaller company, but Disney's so big. They could easily double all their pay and still make bank. So what I don't know what the onus is on them. Like the stock market already treats them favorably. So besides just greed, like why the hell do they have to like piss on their employees like that? I don't get it.
It's because they can, and they're going to. Her name is Abigail Disney, by the way.
I think I read an article about her. Yeah, she was like, I don't like how you guys are treating your employees, and like you were saying, uh, I don't know. It's just it's frustrating. I think Bernie called out Disney too, and we should probably keep doing it.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? I'm not mad at the movements they've made in their movies to try to make more inclusive movies, in terms of like bringing in different races and bringing in the LGBTQIA community because that was a thing for a long time. It wasn't really there, and you know they're slowly integrating it, and I praise them for integrating that. You know, but I also understand that the reason that they're integrating that shit is because it is a profit line that they're looking at. They know that the demographics of who's going to be interested in Disney movies because of the diversity of families now, you know, with same-sex parents and stuff like that, they have to move the needle, otherwise they're not going to get paid. And so even though they're doing something that seems virtuous, it is virtuous, you know, on some level, underneath it all it's still just so they profit, you know.
Yeah, we have that with our industries and biotech. The companies that aren't allowing work from home, their workers are less productive. And so when the numbers come out at the stock market, revenue numbers, all the key performance indicators,
Mm-hmm.
the companies who are like, oh no, we want you to all be in office, none of you can work from home, they all do worse than the companies that let you do work from home. So it's not like the companies are being nice. Just like you said, like their bottom line is better off if they let employees work from home, 2, 3, sometimes 4 days a week.
Yeah, so it's like that's where more of my job is at. Since, well, my position specifically, I was, we had a branch here in Arizona, and so I had office space in Arizona, and it was cool. I could go into the office if I wanted to, like if I wanted to participate in like the more community type stuff that was happening around the holidays, or like when we had big incentive pushes or stuff like that, team go go rah rah, that kind of shit. I could go and be involved, but I was primarily work from home. So it's like I would go into my office space when I wanted to. Sure, it was cool. And I did sometimes. Actually, I used to go like at least 2 days a week because I felt like I needed to like keep myself around other people because I was a single dad raising a
Hmm.
kid. So it's like my whole interactions, if I didn't go into the workplace, would be like me and a 5 year old and then me and the computer. And it's like, no, you need to talk to adults. You need to have some adult conversation, So
Yeah.
you got to go into the office a couple days a week. So I had it worked out where I go in a couple days and do my thing in office, and then I'd go home and like work from home. And then ultimately, like when COVID hit, basically the company I work for is very, very people's health is very super important to the company. Like they go out of their way to make sure at some of their sites. Like I said, I don't want to dox myself, but some of their sites they have like nurses and doctors on site, like where you can actually go to a full on you could get a fucking full on physical. You get your blood work done there on site, everything, like at the facility, like where you work. So it's like that's how they kind of treated people's health. So when COVID hit, they're like, yeah, everybody's going home, like no question. We're following CDC to a T, like no matter what. You guys are not going to be in the office. They were actually, I think, one of the first companies out of me and like all my friends and people that I knew of, where like it was like, nope, you guys are permanently, and sent everybody at our offices all across the country. Like everybody was sent home, even if you
Yeah.
were like supposed to be in the office doing your job. Nope, not anymore.
And
Go
think about how
home.
many lives they saved doing that. Like there's so many people living today because people made those decisions.
Yeah, yeah. It's like one of those things that company values so much, and they're just like, and they're cool about other stuff too. Like if you're having like um uh mental health issues and you need breaks, and you just need extra time off to deal with the shit. Like they don't even sweat you for it. Like sometimes they won't even use like your PTO time or because you get like in Arizona you get mandatory paid sick leave.
Hmm.
And they won't even use your mandatory paid sick leave. They'll just be like, well, so what? Whatever. Go, like, there's nothing going on anywhere. Just go take those few hours. Go take that day. We're slow as fuck. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm with a good company too, where people will just literally text like in our group will be like, "Hey, I just gotta go get some groceries, with the wife or just on my own.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be out for a couple hours," and it's like no PTO, no nothing. Like it sounds like you're with a really good company.
Yeah. And I mean, it's true. I am salaried, so that's a part of it. I'm going to get paid what I get paid either way during the
Yeah,
busy season. But, like, the thing is, our busy season is like 4 months out of the year. So it's like, when
it's
it's
worth it.
yeah, when it's busy, it's like okay, we hustle and bustle. I'm going to put in extra hours, but it's the busy season that also pays me my bonus. So it's like that's cool. I'll do the hustle and bustle because I'm on the like I do IT type stuff. You know what I mean? But if I keep the people that I'm supporting up and running, and they're able to make money for the company because I'm supporting them properly, I get paid out a shit ton. You know what I'm
That
saying?
bo- that bonus, Jason, is so nice. Like, I started getting them a handful of years ago, and I'm like addicted. I don't think I can go to a job now that doesn't give a bonus. In March, it hits, and
Yep.
then that extra bit of money just like it's so nice for your savings. I don't know. I really like it.
Give me that little March bonus. That's a little yummy, yummy. I'm good. You know.
The tax is crazy though. Like I pay like 40% tax on my bonus.
Same, same. It does suck. The taxation on that sucks. I think if you make less than $100,000 a year, your bonuses shouldn't be taxed any more than your regular payroll tax should be, because
Yeah,
that's basically a part of your salary. It's just the part of salary you have to work extra hard for. Like
yeah,
what the
yeah.
fuck?
In a lot of European countries, in December they get a 13th month paycheck. Right? Have you heard about that?
Yeah, they all get paid like it's just like an extra paycheck at the end of December, right? Like it's for the whole month.
There's an American who asked one time. They were like talking to a journalist, and they're like, "Hey, I saw this in my paycheck. Like, why is this here? And then the boss was like, what do you mean? Like, well, this payment, like I didn't work this. And they're like, yeah, but aren't you going on vacation? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, don't you need money to go on vacation? He's like, I do. He's like, that's what that's for. He's like, you paid me so I could have money to spend on my vacation. He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so abnormal for us Americans to even think that way. You know?
Yeah, no, and it's funny because I've worked for a lot of big companies, and like a lot of big companies, they have taken care of me in a lot of ways, but then in other ways they fell really flat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like this one just kind of like pulled it all together, and they like gave me all the goodness, and it's like thank you, this is nice. You know, and I think the other thing, I work on a very, very small team with very few people, and I think that makes a big difference because it's like you get to know people very well, and you can understand their personalities and like what kind of sense of humor is and shit they have. And I'm somebody that relates to people like through humor. You know, it's always going to be like some like either kind of crass or off-putting joke, or you know, some fucked up wordplay or some shit like that. And that's how I like try to relate to people. If I do that, then it's like, yeah, like I think that person's cool. I want to like talk to him, so you know, I'll fuck with that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, my brother's like that too, and I hate it when there's people at like jobs and they're like, "Why are you being so like laid back?" It's like, well, because I want to make people laugh, I want people happy. My brother, like, he lights up our whole family with his humor and stuff. Like, I hate it when companies try to like silence that. You know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
ruins everything. You know?
Yeah, no, any company that wants to put that shit on the back burner, they really don't care about their employees, because even if that guy that's like kind of the jokester on the team, if they're meeting their metrics, then you want them on the team because they're going to make everybody else happy. Like they light up the room, even if they're being a little snarky and shit sometimes. I was a manager, you know, like I was really good in management because I could read my employees. At several of the companies I worked for, like the one thing I was known for is like my employees or the people that come onto my team knew me as the elevator, because you'd get promoted if you were on my team. That's just how it was. Like I just knew how to pull people out, how to pick their talents out, how to kind of like sculpt them and mold them and like get them into like what it would take for them to get to where they want to go, and then send them off, you know. And I could advocate for them and do all the things to make that happen. So I got the nickname the Elevator, which I thought was cool.
That is a cool one, but that's not easy to do, Jason. That's tough. We need more people managers that are like that, because a lot of people managers, they're just out for like their next position, and they're not looking out for their you know, reports. So that's really cool that you looked out and you helped elevate them.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's the most important thing because, yeah, it hurt my metrics, you know, and I had months where it was like really hard up, and they were like, well, you're fucking doing horrible. And I was like, yeah, I just took on like 5 new teammates because I just promoted 5 people into better positions. Like, what about that? You know, does that mean anything? You know, like, so that was the thing that I ran into a lot as a manager. Was like, it was always like, you'd have those little bit of lulls where you got somebody that just came in and you haven't had that time to like sit with them yet and build them up. And, you know, it'd be like, in my case, it was always because there were so many people I'd be rolling out and so many people they'd be rolling back in that were like new or problem cases. Like usually I got a lot of people that were problem cases and I'd turn them around and flip them. So I get a bunch all at once. And like, I'd always have those months where it was like, well, your numbers are just horrible. What the hell are you doing? And I'm like, you just gave me the worst of the worst, you guys. Like, come on. Like, give me a chance to build them up. Like, let me do my work, you know? And then a couple months down the road, those people would get, like, spun out, you know, and up into other positions and shit. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, I didn't think that person could do that. You know, you're right. They were, like, pretty good at that. And, you know, you, like, veered them off in the right position, you know? And I was like, yeah, I know.
I think you probably see the potential in people, but that's a rare trait. Like I have something similar where there was a teammate that I was having disagreements with, really like passionate, heated discussions. And then like a year later, me and him are like best friends. People were like, man, how did that happen? I was like, well, because like I saw his strengths. I didn't take anything personally. I knew that he was coming from a place of passion, like he cared about the company. He
Oh
wasn't
yeah.
doing it to be malicious. So we know we just cultivate our relationship, and he and I are like cool, and he would go like above and beyond to kill for X or Y project, right? But most people, Jason, in that same position, they're like, oh, this guy's an asshole. They cut ties and they give up, right? Like me and you, I don't think we give up on people, which is rare.
Yeah, yeah. No, I had managers for that because that was one specific company that I really, really spent a lot. I spent most of my, well, I guess it was at three different companies. I spent a lot of time in management, but that one seemed to be the one where it was the most organized management, anyways. And it just seemed like the more that I was, and you know what's interesting? The more that I was involved in that management and the more that I was able to connect with the employees and understand what their needs were and how to better develop them, the further to the left I went.
Yeah,
Because I realized like how much the company was hosing them. And I was like, you know what? Like, I love being in management because I'm in a place where hopefully I can make a little bit of moves. But I hate the fact that companies are hosing people like this. Like, we need to do better.
dude, I that happened to me, and I had to like let one of my coworkers know. He was a lot older than me. He was like a decade older, and he has like two kids, right? And I'm like, dude, like, I don't know if you know this, but like, I make like almost like 10K more than you. We're doing the same job. You obviously need the money too. Like, you gotta like talk to them, right?
Hmm.
And he had some rough conversations with management, and finally, you know, they did up. They got him up to the right pay. But ironically, because of that, they like stymied me. So later on, I jumped to another job. But they were
Yeah.
upset that I told them that. But dude, Jason, the guy has two freaking kids. He's like 10 years older to me, right? Like he's about to turn 50.
Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do? Just like have that knowledge and just not tell him? And thank God, like, you know, now his kids are more taken care of because of that. So I had to say something. You know.
No, and you did the right thing. And the truth is that like there's a lot of companies out there that'll lie or like manipulate the situation and say you're not allowed to talk about how much you make, you know, with other employees. And
They said, yeah, they said
that's
that.
bullshit.
I was like,
That's
I
against
know.
the law for them to say that, you know.
Yeah, I told that to their face. I was like, hey, I know the law, and I'm like, if you say that to me again, I'll report it. I know that I'm well within my rights to tell my wage to others, and but what you guys are paying him is theft. Like that's not fair. Like I know you're making money, but the guy has two kids. Like that. Like it takes someone heartless to just even offer that level of pay to someone. You know, like that was just 10K less than me, and like all of my coworkers are making my level or more. I was like, that's, and I don't have any kids, right? So that was just heartless in my mind.
Yeah, it is. It is heartless. That's a horrible way to approach it. And I mean, like, so like I worked for one company, right? And I was well, my my the mother of my child was pregnant with my child, and she also has lupus, and so there was a lot of fucking there was a lot of complications, and I kept having to take time off, and like so I went to go take FMLA, and the company was like, I started getting the paperwork together and all that to do that, and the company was like, nope, you can't. We'll give you 2 weeks, and we'll give you a reference letter somewhere else, but we're not going to let you go on FMLA. It's either that we'll give you 2 weeks and you can resign, or we can fire you.
That
And,
seems super illegal.
and
That's
I was like, well, fire me because then I'm just going to go get unemployment and I'm going to get on benefits and you guys are going to have to pay for it. And
yeah.
they didn't think they were going to. They're a real snarky, shitty company, like, and they ended up having to pay for it.
Well, I mean, what assholes, right? Like a
Yeah,
person about to have, and not only that, like there's complications, and I don't know, man. Some companies, like, it's beyond me. It's beyond me.
Well, they'll do what it takes for the bottom line. You know, it's all about that dollar bill, y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's all they care about.
Yeah,
So, you know, if it means cutting somebody out and cutting corners legally, they'll take the chance on it. Because here's the thing, is they take advantage of the fact that a lot of people are either uneducated on their rights or don't have the money to go and fight for their rights. They don't
yeah,
count on attorneys that will work on contingency. They don't count on stuff like that. And if they did, they wouldn't do the stupid shit they're doing.
yeah. No, I think you're right. And those lawyers being able to do that, it helps us out, right? Like, because they know they're gonna win that case. They got the ace up their sleeve. So thank God that they're able to kind of balance it. I mean, people speak ill of lawyers, but honestly, sometimes without lawyers, you never get, those scales of justice to balance.
I'll put it like my dad said, because my dad was an attorney. Like I grew up in law, very much so. And the common refrain is nobody likes a lawyer until they need one. You know.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Um, there's some lawyers doing some real good work for sure. Yeah, no, dude, I can't believe like you were having issue. I mean, I say I can't believe it, but I makes sense. There's like thousands of cases like that.
Oh, of course, yeah, and it's all across the country. You know. Sorry, I have my producer messaging me about something totally unrelated. I apologize.
Oh, no worries.
No, I actually worked in my dad's law office from the time I was very young. From the time I was 10. I started filing docs by the time I was like 12, 13. And saw what abuse looked like child abuse looked like, because you'd have to file photos of like kids that had been hurt and shit.
Oh, dang.
And I saw some fucking really horrific shit, man. I'm gonna tell you, like, because you have to catalog it, and it's got to have like an identifier, you know, like so here,
yeah.
exhibit A14, or you know, whatever it is, you know, and you
Yeah.
have to have all that. So it's all got to be labeled and cataloged and all that shit. And that's some of that shit's super fucking heavy. Well, it's all super heavy because he did family law, so it was all about like, you know, dealing with divorces and you know, child abuse and working with CPS and different shits like that. Like it was always like super heavy shit. But I learned about that at a very young age, and it's fucking petrifying.
How did he clear his mind, man? It's how do you, because you got to go home, right, and be with the family. I don't know how someone clears their head of that. It must be really tough.
Most lawyers are sex addicts.
They're what?
Sex addicts.
Wait, why?
I don't know. Relieves the stress, I guess.
I mean,
There was a time they had to worry about like taking drug tests and stuff like that. So I think sex was like the easiest outlet, you know?
I guess, right? Like, 10, 20 minutes, like, boom, done.
You know, get those endorphins pumping, you know, you're feeling good again, you know, back to normal. No, my dad very much, and not to out some shit, but anybody that knew my dad knew it. Like, he was very much like a Lothario of sorts, you know, like he had 5 kids from 5 different women. Like, he didn't have 2 kids with any of the same woman. Like, not a one. like we all had different moms, you know? Like, come on. So yeah, that was the thing. I think attorneys otherwise have other vices and shit. Some are alcoholics and shit like that. But
Yeah, it's a tough job for sure. But yeah, no, you need, how else do you fight back against those cases, right? You definitely need it.
gotta have an outlet, you know. I ain't altogether upset with them about it because it's kind of like weird. Like I found later on in life, like even my mom kind of had like an understanding of that, and it was kind of like, yeah, well, whatever. I was like, what? Whatever? Whatever?
So maybe
Okay.
she's like moved on from it. But that's surprising she was able to. That's cool.
I was just kind of like, that's all right. What's up, mom? That's cool.
That's
Like I
super like
wasn't even mad at it. I was like, it's like I didn't even know how to react. I was just like, kind of like, all right then, all right.
it's like super mature of her. I think it's kind of. I mean, my mom's kind of like that too. She's like way too forgiving. Like even if you did something wrong, like she's. And later on, it'd be like, oh no, like or if my siblings were not very nice, but like, no, mom, like that's not okay. They shouldn't have said that or whatever, right? She's just like, no, I'm cool. Like she was just a super forgiving mom.
Hell yeah, that's dope as hell. That's what you. I mean, you hope to have that, as long as they're not doormats, right? Because then you take advantage of them.
No, my mom definitely like the house is hers, but she's just that's always been good about her. Like everyone has to tries their best to keep her happy, but if they mess up, like she's quick to forgive.
Hey, Mike. To address your attrition concern, Mike said, "I still don't believe it costs corps much to hire new people. Otherwise, they wouldn't want such high attrition." We had fucking massive conversations with corporate attorneys as managers at a certain company that you and I both know very well about how to retain people because of the fact it cost over $30,000 every time we brought somebody in the door just to get them through the door through training, through background checks, through everything we had to do. $30,000 a person. 30,000 fucking dollars a person.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and you got dinged for it every time that somebody got terminated or or
or less.
quit. It was an attrition mark if you're a manager and you got dinged for it, and that cost that yeah, that would cost your performance big time. You did not want high attrition. High attrition's bad, bad, bad. It means you're not coaching. You're not coaching the employee to be better. They're just failing. You're letting them fail. So, yeah.
I think Mike, just like you were saying, like no, it's super expensive at my company as well to get someone, tens of thousands of dollars in some departments. It takes 2 months or more to train them before they're even allowed to work.
Yeah.
My department, if you don't have like a year of experience in clinical trials, like we won't even like touch you. And even if you do, like there's a little bit of a waiting game until they can do the trickier stuff. So yeah, no, it's super expensive to hire. But then to Mike's question of like, well, then why are they just like burning through people? Often it's just like a bad company. I know a company
Yeah,
like
they're
that.
just a shitty company. They're not even caring about that, even though they should be. And a lot of time is they're looking at the fact that, oh, we're going to take a loss this year, and if we're going to take a loss, it's okay. We'll fuck off these employees because rehiring new people is and attrition is a loss, and we'll just add that to the losses this year. Give
Yeah,
us a tax write off, and we'll turn around next year and try to do better, But that's basically when they're calling the Hail Mary on how they can save any kind of money possible, and that's how they do it. That's exactly how they do it.
there's a company I know of that grinded so many people that everyone in the area like know now they have like a reputation. They know to stay away, and they're struggling to keep the lights on. It took like 5 years, Jason. But no, eventually, like if they keep it up, like that's what happens. And there's a super high level VP executive management that they don't live in that area, right? Like they don't know how that branch is run. They're emailing and asking questions like, what the hell is happening? Why can't, like, we are trying to hire, we can't hire in your area. What? So now they're about to figure out, I think probably sometime this year, like this branch is messed up, and it's probably because of the leadership. I think this year or next they're gonna get rid of everyone in leadership at that branch because they compare the branches to each other, and that branch just can't hire, and they have really toxic leads.
Yeah, that'll kill it. That'll kill it. That will kill it. And everyone thinks like the whole thing is people try to drive numbers, numbers, numbers. But if you aren't concerned about your people, you're not going to get the numbers any fucking ways. It won't happen. You'll never get them.
Yep, exactly. I mean, you get the numbers with good people, like right. It starts with the people and it ends with the people. So yeah, you're right.
That's why I keep saying like that, and that's why I keep saying that's what moved me further to the left, especially as somebody like that's just even kind of looking from a level of like productivity, right? Like, because I want to see good productivity, right? And I understand what it takes to get good productivity. People have to feel like they're wanted at their jobs. People have to feel like they're compensated fairly, and people have to feel like they're rewarded for going above and beyond when they do. And you know what? Like when companies don't do that on the regular, when they skimp on that shit, or when they use titles as justifications in lieu of actual raises or shit like that, like that's bullshit. That's not helping people. That's not helping the shit grow. You know?
It'll work itself out because I've noticed, like I said, in biotech and other companies, the places that do those things, they're giving the work from home, they're being better. They're just out competing the crappy companies, and then guess what? The free market wins and kicks the crappy companies out, and the good companies end up doing really well. The problem is when it gets to like Disney, who makes so much money. Like I think they have enough money to burn to where they can afford to treat people crappy. But outside of Disney, medium and small companies, they can't keep that going indefinitely.
No, not at all. And they shouldn't be required to compete at that level. But that also means that they have to just be better, you know. And I think there's a way for medium and small sized companies to do that. But I think the way that starts is by being able to say, guess what? We don't have to pay for your health care because there's a thing called fucking single payer.
Yeah,
And
that would help out a lot.
instead we get to pay you a higher wage and we get to give you benefits and discounts in the store. You know what I mean?
That's a
Like
heavy weight on medium and small companies. Like if you took that off of their shoulders, they could probably compete with some of the big dogs. And I wouldn't be surprised if some big companies are like wary because they're like, hey, we can afford healthcare. Let's use this heavy weight to keep the mid companies down. You know?
wait. Mike says, seems like Amazon is fighting us. Do you see the keywords they banned on their internal app? No, shoot them out, Mike. What did they ban? I know they banned organizing. They banned like workforce. They banned something about bathroom breaks. They banned all sorts of fucked up shit. Yeah, their internal chat app. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, essentially they were trying to moderate the app in such a way that no worker organization could happen through the app.
Jason, do you think the next Democratic president is finally going to take marijuana off the controlled substances list?
I think it's going to have to be every state. I seriously don't think it's going to be the president that does it. I think we're going to get to like the 40th state and some tired ass old man's going to be like, who is getting paid by the cannabis industry? It's going to be like, we need to deschedule marijuana. And then they're going to like crank up the scheduling on cocaine and hallucinogens. And I'll be like, well, that sucks because like weed's just my drug to keep me level. Like, are you telling me I'm not going to be able to do a lot of smoke crack and like, eat mushrooms and fucking down like 20 hits of acid? That seems punk, you know?
Definitely don't do acid. Kids don't do acid.
Yeah, never. Don't ever do 25 hits of acid all at once on your tongue and just like feel like you're licking windows.
I feel like if not the next,
Not
probably
that I ever did that or anything, because I would never do such a thing. I swear it. I swear I've never done 25 hits of acid at once.
I feel like if not the next Democratic president, maybe the one after will have to, because it's getting embarrassing at this point, right? Like it would literally take a week of discussions to write the executive order, sign it, have a signing ceremony, and that's it. Like very little work, maybe an hour a day, get the language right, and boom.
Yeah,
But yeah,
so I basically think like my whole position on drugs and like controlled substances is like it should all be everything should be legalized, but if you want to do it, you should have to get through like a pharmacy or dispensary. Like there could be dope ass like I mean if you want to go to the fucking cocaine dispensary to get your cocaine, then so be it, dude. You should be able to do that, you know. But it should also be something where like you got to go through an education program just like when you get your driver's license, you know, like so here are the rules of the road, you know. And basically if you fuck up, you fuck up. You know what I mean? Like so that way it's like cuz here's my other thing. Like legalize all drugs, but don't allow people to get away with a crime because they're high on that drug. You know what I mean? Like if you make the choice to do the drug and you do some fucked up shit, well, guess what, buddy? You made the choice to do the drug and you did some fucked up shit. You still did some fucked up shit. You know, like, and that's kind of my take on it. Like, but I think basically, like, let people do what they want to do, but they need to be educated and they need to know they're going to be held responsible if they fucking do anything crazy or stupid, you know, outside the confines of normal, I guess what we call normal law. You know, don't murder, steal, kill, you know, assault, you know, harass people, you know, type of shit, you know.
Yeah, and I'm just tired of all the organized crime, dude. Like there was like this one high level like organized gang member that was in Mexico City or something, and because the police got him, there was like this giant firefight with organized crime members. Like 30 people died.
Yeah.
Like that type of stuff has to stop. Where like kids are getting shot. Like the organized crime is just that bothers me. Like we gotta break those people down, take their money away.
Yeah, exactly. They push out the black market by creating a legitimate market for the same products. If you do that, there's nothing for people to shoot at each other for. Like, what are they going to kill each other for? What are you shooting each other over?
Yeah.
Like, go compete in the legitimate business market. And if you can't fucking hang, well, you're a bitch. Here's capitalism. You know, I'm not a capitalist, but since we're currently in that society, you got to play by those rules. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, it bleeds into like the farmers. Like the California banned avocados because there were some threats made to like regulators from the FDA and the USDA who were like looking at the farms in Mexico.
Yeah.
And so they're like, no, if you're gonna do this organized crime shit, we're not gonna take any of your avocados, right? Like the extortion that those organized crime people do, it bleeds everywhere. Like if you could get rid of them, so many tens of millions of people's lives would be better. So like whenever this stuff is legalized, I just think in general, like millions of people's lives are going to be better off.
I'm not even for just like mass legalization in the U.S. I think we need mass global legalization, and I think there needs to be a concerted effort put towards mass global legalization and regulation of all drugs, everything, because you want to get away from fentanyl overdoses from people doing heroin. You fucking legalize and regulate that shit where the fentanyl isn't getting in the heroin. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to take care of the problem of like people going through withdrawal because they can't get a supply. Well, when you are able to regulate shit, you can have a regular supply and people aren't out. You know what I mean? Like if there are people that need, they need, you know, fine. If that's what you want to do. I'm not encouraging people to go out and do the hardest drugs on the planet. But what I'm saying is if they're going to do them, they should first of all, just like how we talk about sex ed, how we should talk about drug ed, what's the proper and healthy way to do it? If you're going to fucking do it, and if you're going to fucking do it, where can you get it where it's actually not going to fucking kill you? You know, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, it's been awesome talking to you, Jason. I gotta jump off, but it's been great, man. We'll definitely do this again sometime.
Anytime you want. I appreciate you listening. I kind of went on a rant there at the end.
No, I liked it. I appreciate you too, man. Have a good night.
All right, take care.